Welcome to the English chapter.
Read world-famous books and master professional English.
Welcome back to the English chapter, the show where we read the world's most powerful books and use them to help you grow your English and level up your life. I am Liam.
And I am Maya, and today we are reading a book that has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It is called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins.
Now I know what some of you might be thinking. Oh, another self-help book with a catchy title. But I want you to stay with us for just one moment, because this book is going to tell you something that will completely change the way you see yourself. It is going to tell you that the biggest thing standing between you and the life you want is a 5-second window inside your own brain.
Not your boss, not your background, not your lack of time or money or talent. Your own brain, working against you every single day.
Maya, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever had a moment where you knew you should do something? Raise your hand in a meeting, send that message, apply for that job. And then something stopped you?
Oh, Liam, every single week. You have the thought, you feel the impulse, and then your brain just quietly talks you out of it. You start telling yourself things like, maybe later, maybe I am not ready, maybe it is not the right time.
And that moment right there is exactly what Mel Robbins is writing about. That hesitation is not random. It is not a character flaw. It is your brain doing precisely what it was designed to do. And once you truly understand that, everything starts to change.
And here is why this matters so much for your English journey as well. So many of our viewers tell us they feel that exact same hesitation when it comes to speaking English. You know the word, you understand the sentence, but the moment comes to open your mouth and something holds you back.
That feeling has a name, and today Mel Robbins is going to explain exactly what it is, and, more importantly, give you one incredibly simple tool to beat it in under 5 seconds.
And throughout this episode, we are going to do what we always do here at the English chapter. We are going to dig into the big ideas, debate, challenge each other, and pull out vocabulary and expressions you can use immediately. At work, in meetings, in job interviews, in everyday English conversations.
And we are starting with a vocabulary word right now, because it is at the heart of everything in this book. The word is hesitation. Hesitation means a pause before doing something, usually because you feel uncertain or nervous. For example, you might say she answered with hesitation, meaning she was unsure or careful. Or you could say, he acted without hesitation, meaning he moved quickly and confidently. And that second phrase, acting without hesitation, is exactly what this book is going to teach you how to do.
So, whether you are here to improve your English, to get better at your job, to build more confidence, or all three at once, this episode is for you.
No hesitation. Let us get into it. So let us start with the basics. What exactly is the 5-second rule? Because on the surface, it sounds almost too simple to be real.
It really does. But that is actually the genius of it. Mel Robbins says this: the moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you move.
That is it?
That is it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you act, before your brain has a chance to talk you out of it.
So it is almost like a launch sequence, like a rocket launching into space.
Yes, and Robbins actually uses that exact image in the book. She says, think of yourself as a rocket on a launch pad. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch. No hesitation, no second guessing. You go.
But where did this rule actually come from? Because Mel Robbins did not invent this sitting in a nice office somewhere. She discovered it during one of the hardest periods of her entire life.
Right. And this is the part of the book that really stays with you. At the time she discovered this rule, her life was falling apart. Her marriage was struggling, her family was in serious financial trouble. She could not get herself out of bed in the morning. She would hit snooze again and again, avoiding the day before it even started.
And one night, she saw a television commercial, a rocket launching into space, and something clicked inside her. She thought, what if tomorrow morning, instead of lying there dreading the day, I just counted down and launched myself out of bed like a rocket?
So the next morning, she did it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And she got up. And that one small action, that tiny moment of physical movement, changed the entire direction of her morning. And eventually, her entire life.
Now there is a word there worth knowing. She was dreading the day. To dread something means to feel anxious or afraid about something that has not happened yet. You might say, I dread Mondays, meaning you feel anxious every time Monday approaches, or she dreads public speaking, meaning the thought of it fills her with fear even before it happens. The noun form is dread, and you can say things like, he felt a sense of dread before the big presentation. A very expressive and useful word.
And what makes the rule so powerful is that Robbins did not just use it to get out of bed. She tested it on everything. Difficult conversations, career decisions, moments of self-doubt, creative blocks. And every single time, the countdown worked.
And the reason it works is rooted in neuroscience, in the actual biology of how your brain is wired. And that is where things get really interesting. Which brings us to our next section. Okay, it is time for our favorite part of every episode. The moment where we share the most surprising, most counterintuitive claim from the book. The idea that stops you cold and makes you think, wait, did she really just say that?
Liam, hit him with it.
Mel Robbins says this, you are never going to feel like it.
Say that again?
You are never going to feel like it. Motivation is a myth. Waiting until you feel ready, waiting until you feel inspired, confident, energized, is the very reason your dreams are staying exactly where they are right now, inside your head.
Okay, that is a bold claim.
It gets bolder. She says that motivation does not come before action. It comes after. You do not wait to feel motivated and then act. You act first, and motivation follows.
So everything we have been told about motivation, find your why, wait for inspiration, get in the right headspace first. She is saying all of that is wrong?
She is saying it is not just wrong, it is counterproductive. And that is a word worth pausing on. Counterproductive means the opposite of helpful. It actually makes things worse rather than better. For instance, checking your phone every 5 minutes while studying is counterproductive. It slows you down instead of helping you. Or waiting for the perfect moment to speak English is counterproductive. The waiting itself is the obstacle.
And Robbins argues that the habit of waiting, for motivation, for confidence, for the right feeling, is one of the most counterproductive habits a human being can develop. Because the feeling of being ready almost never comes on its own.
And I have to say, when I first read this, something in me pushed back a little. Because we have all been told, follow your passion, trust your gut, listen to what feels right.
And Robbins is saying, do not listen to your gut.
She is saying your gut is great for survival, but when it comes to growth, your gut will almost always tell you to stay safe, stay comfortable, stay exactly where you are.
Because the brain's job, biologically, is not to make you successful. It is to keep you alive. And anything unfamiliar, anything that feels risky or uncomfortable, registers as a potential threat.
And this brings us to another key word from the book, instinct. An instinct is a natural, automatic feeling or response, something you do or feel without consciously thinking about it. For example, her instinct was to apologize even when she had done nothing wrong. Or, trust your instincts is a very common piece of advice in English, but Robbins is directly challenging that advice when it comes to personal growth.
Because your instinct in the moment before you do something brave, speak up in a meeting, introduce yourself to someone new, try something you have never done before, your instinct is almost always the same. Wait.
And waiting. Those 5 seconds of waiting is exactly when your brain kills the idea before it ever becomes action. So let us talk about the science, because this is where the book goes from self-help to something much more fascinating. Mel Robbins explains what is actually happening inside your brain during those 5 seconds, and once you understand it, you cannot unsee it.
The key concept here is something called the prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain located right behind your forehead, and it is responsible for decision-making, planning, and impulse control.
And here is what happens. The moment you have an impulse, I should speak up, I should apply for that job, I should start that project right now. Your prefrontal cortex is ready. It is on your side. It wants you to move.
But then, within seconds, another part of your brain activates. The part that was designed over thousands of years to protect you from danger. And it starts scanning. Is this safe? Is this familiar? Is this comfortable?
And the answer, almost always, is no. Because growth is never fully comfortable, by definition.
So your brain sends a signal. Hesitate, wait, think about it more, sleep on it. And that signal, Mel Robbins says, is not wisdom. It is just your brain doing its job, keeping you exactly where you are.
And here is a phrase that captures this perfectly. To overthink something. To overthink means to think about something so much and for so long that you cannot make a decision or take action. He overthought the email and never sent it. Or, stop overthinking and just apply for the position. The noun form is overthinking, and you might hear someone say overthinking was the biggest obstacle in her career. A very common and very relatable word in professional life.
And Robbins makes a point here that I find really powerful. She says, overthinking is not a personality trait. It is not who you are. It is a habit. And like any habit, it can be broken with 5 seconds.
She also introduces a concept called activation energy. This is a term originally from chemistry. It refers to the minimum amount of energy required to start a reaction. Something has to push it over the edge before anything moves.
And she applies this idea to human behavior. She says, starting is the hardest part. Once you take that first physical step, the resistance drops almost immediately.
This is why the countdown always ends with physical movement. You do not just think 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in your head. You move. You stand up. You pick up the phone. You open the document. You raise your hand. Because physical movement changes your mental state almost instantly. The body leads and the mind follows.
And here is a phrase that is very useful for professional English. To take the first step. It means to begin something, especially something that feels difficult or intimidating. Taking the first step is always the hardest part. Or, she finally took the first step and emailed her manager about the promotion. And for English learners, this idea is so directly relevant because the hardest part of improving your English is not grammar or vocabulary. It is opening your mouth for the very first time.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, speak. Okay, Maya, I have been listening very patiently, and I have to be honest with you. I am not fully convinced.
Oh, really? Here we go.
Here is my issue. We have instincts for a reason. Evolution gave us the ability to pause, to assess, to think before we act. And in many situations throughout history, that caution has saved lives. Businesses, relationships.
I hear you, but I think you are confusing two very different situations. Caution in a genuinely dangerous situation? Absolutely. Trust that instinct completely. But caution when you want to speak up in a team meeting? Caution when you want to introduce yourself at a networking event? That is not wisdom, Liam. That is fear wearing the costume of wisdom.
But how do you know the difference in the moment? How do you know when to trust your gut and when to override it?
Robbins actually addresses this directly. She says if the hesitation is about physical safety, listen to it without question. But if the hesitation is about social discomfort, about what people might think, about fear of failure, about not feeling ready enough, then that hesitation is your brain protecting your ego, not your life.
Protecting your ego. That is an interesting phrase. What do we mean by ego exactly?
In everyday English, your ego refers to your sense of self-worth or self-image, how you see yourself and how you want others to see you. He has a big ego, means he thinks very highly of himself. But protecting your ego means avoiding situations where you might look bad, fail publicly, or be judged by others. And Robbins is saying that most of our hesitation is really the brain trying to protect that self-image, not to protect us from any real danger.
So every time we let that hesitation win, we are not being careful. We are being controlled.
Exactly. And here is the deeper cost. Every time you let the hesitation win, you send a message to yourself. The message is, I cannot handle this. I need more time. I am not ready. And over time, those messages become beliefs. And those beliefs quietly become your identity.
And that is the real danger. It is not just the one missed opportunity in front of you. It is the slow erosion of your confidence over time.
Erosion is a beautiful word to know. In nature, erosion is when rock or soil is gradually worn away by water or wind over a long period of time. But we use it in a wider sense too. The erosion of confidence means confidence that slowly disappears, little by little, each time you choose not to act. It is not dramatic, it is gradual. And that is what makes it dangerous.
Okay, I will give you that point. I still think there is a place for strategic patience, knowing when to hold back deliberately. But I accept that most of the time, what we call patience is actually just procrastination wearing a very respectable coat.
Procrastination in a respectable coat. I am absolutely using that.
And there is our next vocabulary moment. Procrastination means delaying or postponing tasks, even when you know you should be doing them. Procrastination is one of the biggest enemies of productivity. Or, I have been procrastinating on this report all week. The verb form is to procrastinate, and it comes up constantly in professional conversations. Your manager knows the word, your colleagues know the word, and now you do too.
And Mel Robbins would say, the cure for procrastination is not discipline. It is not a better morning routine. It is not a new app. It is 5 seconds.
So let us get practical. Because one of the things we always want to do on this show is connect the book directly to your real life. And the 5-second rule is honestly one of the most immediately usable books we have ever covered.
Let us walk through some real scenarios. Situations you will actually face at work, in your career, and in your English practice, and show exactly how the rule applies in each one.
Scenario 1. You are in a meeting. Your manager asks if anyone has ideas, and you have one. A genuinely good idea. But your brain immediately says, what if it sounds stupid? What if people judge me? What if my English is not perfect enough?
You feel the hesitation, that familiar freeze.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You raise your hand. You speak. And here is what Robbins says happens next. Even if the words are not perfect, even if your voice shakes a little, the act of speaking rewires your brain. It sends a new message. I can do this.
And here is a useful English expression for exactly that kind of situation. To chime in. To chime in means to contribute to a conversation, especially by adding your opinion or an idea. She chimed in with a great suggestion during the meeting. Or, do not be afraid to chime in. Your perspective matters. A natural and professional phrase that signals confidence and engagement.
Scenario 2. You want to ask for a raise or apply for a promotion. You have been telling yourself for months, not yet, maybe next quarter. I need to prepare a little more first. Sound familiar?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You send the email requesting the meeting. You do not wait until you feel completely ready, because that feeling of being completely ready almost never arrives on its own. You act, and the confidence builds from the action itself.
And here is one of the most valued phrases in professional English: to take initiative. Initiative means acting without being told to, being proactive, starting something yourself without waiting for permission or instruction. She took initiative by proposing the new project before anyone asked. Or, managers always appreciate employees who take initiative. And the 5-second rule is essentially a daily system for taking initiative consistently.
And for our English learners specifically, here is scenario 3. You meet someone new, and you want to practice your English with them. Your brain immediately says, my grammar is not good enough. My accent is too strong. I will embarrass myself.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You say hello. You introduce yourself. And here is the honest truth. Nobody is judging your grammar as harshly as you are judging yourself. People appreciate the effort of genuine connection far more than they notice the small imperfections of language.
And here is a phrase that captures exactly what that moment requires. To put yourself out there. It means to make yourself vulnerable, to take a social or professional risk in order to grow or connect. You have to put yourself out there if you want to improve. Or, it was scary, but she put herself out there and it paid off. And paid off is a great phrase too. It means the effort was worth it. The risk produced a good result. These are both very natural expressions in spoken professional English.
Put yourself out there. And it paid off. 2 phrases. Use them. They will make your English sound confident and natural immediately.
Now, we have talked a lot about the practical side of the rule. The countdown, the movement, the workplace scenarios. But there is a deeper message running through this entire book that I think deserves its own moment. Go on.
Mel Robbins says that the 5-second rule is not just a productivity trick. It is a tool for building a new identity, for becoming, over time, the kind of person who acts, who moves, who does not wait for permission or perfect conditions.
And this connects to something genuinely profound about how habits and identity shape each other. Every time you use the rule, every small act of courage, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. One 5-second decision at a time.
And that brings us to a word that is at the very center of this book: courage. We often think courage means being fearless, having absolutely no fear at all, like a superhero.
But Robbins completely reframes that idea. She says courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is acting in spite of fear. Doing the thing even when you are nervous, even when you are not ready, even when every part of you is quietly begging you to wait.
And in spite of is a very useful phrase in English. It means despite something, even though something exists or is true. In spite of her nerves, she gave an excellent presentation, or he succeeded in spite of the obstacles in front of him. A formal and impressive phrase that you can use in writing and in speech.
And Robbins argues that courage is a skill, not a personality trait. You are not born courageous. You build courage through repeated, small acts of bravery, 5 seconds at a time, every single day.
I find that genuinely powerful, because so many people, including so many English learners, believe that confidence is something certain people are simply born with, that it is fixed, that it is just personality.
And Robbins says no. Confidence is built, one 5-second decision at a time. Every time you count down and speak, you become slightly more confident than you were before. It compounds. It grows on itself, like interest in a bank account.
And if you watched our episode on the psychology of money, you know exactly how powerful compounding can be. It works the same way with courage.
Small actions, consistent practice, and over months and years, a completely different version of yourself. Okay, let us bring everything together. Because we have covered a lot of ground today, and we want to make sure every idea lands clearly, in your mind and in your English. The 5-second Rule by Mel Robbins. One core idea. The moment you feel an impulse to act on a goal, you count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you move, before your brain has a chance to stop you.
The science behind it. Your brain is wired to protect you from discomfort. Anything unfamiliar feels like a potential threat. So when you hesitate, you are not being rational or wise. You are being managed by biology.
The deeper truth. Motivation does not come before action. It comes after. You act first. Confidence and motivation follow from the action itself. Waiting for the right feeling is not wisdom. It is procrastination with a better name.
And the vocabulary we explored today. Words and expressions you can start using immediately in your professional life.
Hesitation. A pause caused by uncertainty or nerves. To dread. To feel anxious about something before it happens. Counterproductive. Working against your own goals. To overthink. To think so much you cannot act. To take initiative. To act without being told to. To chime in. To contribute your idea or opinion to a conversation. To put yourself out there. To take a brave social or professional risk. In spite of, despite something, even though something is true. And courage. Not the absence of fear, but action in the face of it.
And now, here is your challenge for this week. Think of one situation, one moment where you would normally hesitate. Maybe it is speaking up in a meeting. Maybe it is sending an email you have been putting off. Maybe it is recording yourself speaking English and sharing it somewhere for the first time.
Whatever it is, countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. That is the whole practice. That is the entire book in one action.
And we want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell us, what is the one situation in your life right now where you most need the 5-second rule? Is it at work? In your English practice? In a relationship? In a personal goal you have been delaying? Tell us. We read every single comment, and we love hearing from you.
And if this episode gave you even one idea you can use today, please share it with someone who needs it. Because the best way to learn is to teach. And the best way to improve your English is to use it out loud. Every single day.
Thank you so much for watching the English chapter. I am Liam.
And I am Maya. We will see you in the next chapter.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go.